isn't a turned X just an X? Hey guys, Kakarot197 again. This time with a review of the 1/44th scale Mobile Turn X from the Turn A Gundam series. And man, is this one hell of a unique looking machine. I don't think there are a lot of mobile suits out there that have the asymmetry of the Turn X. Literally everything on this mobile suit is asymmetrical. The arms, the legs, the backpack, even the chest when you look at it, because it has that one little dot on its right side. And it looks really good on the Turn X. I can totally understand why Sid Mead considers this his best creation for the Turn A Gundam series. But of course the question is, did this model kit do the Turn X justice? And in terms of detail, I would say, yeah, for the time, we get some really good engineering on this kit. Yes, we still get a lot of seam lines all over the place because it is a model kit of the time, but there is no doubt in my mind that this model kit is still significantly more detailed than other contemporary model kits. Just keep in mind that some of the panel lines are on the shallow side, so you might have to retrace them if you plan on painting this thing. Which you don't necessarily have to do, because for the most part, the Turn X is completely color accurate, depending on how you like your shades of gray. The backpack is technically supposed to be a lighter shade of gray than the rest of the mobile suit, but other than that, if you're going to do the panel lining, this thing will actually be surprisingly color accurate, because, well, most of the mobile suit is just gray and this kind of mint green color. And as you might have guessed, there are absolutely no stickers for this thing. Then when we have a look at the accessories, everything is already on the machine, or to be more precise, on the backpack. The beam rifle, very simple construction, 2 halves slapped together, goes into the hand very well because, well, the Turn X uses those polycap hands that grab onto the accessories very well. Then to store it again, you just slide it back in there, super easy to do. Then we take out the bazooka. Again, same story as with the beam rifle, 2 halves slapped together, stays into the hand very well. And if you don't want to use it, you just put it back. Just be careful that you don't shake them too much when you have them upside down. Now that we've discussed what we get with the model kit, it is unfortunately time to discuss what we don't get with the model kit. One of the big things of the Turn X is the weld off and destruction manipulator on the right arm, which is supposed to be able to open up to do a shining finger attack, which is actually what it's called. We do not get a special part that allows it to open up, not even by part swapping. That manipulator is going to stay the way that it is. And talking about things that are going to stay the way that they are, the limbs of the Turn X are supposed to be able to detach from the body to do a kind of all-range new type attack. With this model kit, they cannot detach. Still, for a 600 yen model kit, that would have been a bit much to expect. Then onto the articulation. The head is on a single ball joint, goes a little bit up, a little bit down, rotates around, wiggles around, does everything a ball joint does. The arms will rotate around all the way, go up quite nicely like so. These shoulder shuttles will rotate around and also go up and down a little bit, so they're actually surprisingly articulated for what they are. The elbow is bent on a single joint and will rotate around above the elbow. Of course, there is no hand here, but this hand is on a ball joint, will wiggle around, turn around, and does everything a ball joint does. Perhaps important for some to mention, yes, you do get a right hand. Then the waist is a pretty cool design. Not only is there a hinge in there that will allow it to go forwards and backwards, but there is an extra ball joint giving it a bit more freedom of movement. And of course, there is also a peg on the bottom to allow it to go sideways. Then the legs will, of course, go forwards very far and backwards very far and backwards very far, because there are, of course, almost no front skirts and there is no back skirt. Then they will go out about that far, and then they will also rotate around a little bit on the ball joint. The knee bends technically at 2 joints, but it's only 1 joint doing all the work, and you get a little bit more than 90 degrees. Then these very special feet have a very special way of articulating. There is a hinge at the top, so they go forwards really far, backwards not quite as much, and then sideways movement is actually taken care of by the toes that are on a ball joint. And then finally the backpack is also on a hinge, so it will go a little bit like that. So overall, for a model kit from 1999, the Turn X actually has some pretty solid articulation. As always, the inevitable question is, do you want to buy this? Well, for 600 yen for a model kit from 1999, at the time I would have said, hell yeah. It looks amazing, the model kit itself is great too, it has some nice accessories, and all of that for 600 yen. At the time, that would have been a no-brainer. Fast forward to today, and it has aged, but not to the point that I would just say skip it. Basically, there are three main issues that you're going to have to take into account. One, the seam lines, they're pretty bad on the model kit, just as with everything else at the time. Two, the accessories, there are a few ones missing, maybe the ones that you really wanted. And three, if you want a really kick-ass Turn X, there is always the Master Grade. But if you must have it in 1/44 scale, this is still very much worth picking up. But please, don't overpay on eBay. Because apparently, they haven't been restocked in a while, and they're going for a lot of money on there. And then finally, for some size comparisons, first of all, here is next to another 90s model kit, the Heavy Arms, and next to another model kit that was released at around the same time as the Turn X, the Gun Cannon. And you can really see how the Bandai model kits were getting better at the end of the 90s towards the high-grade Universal Century line. Then here's next to some other mobile suits that were used by the Moon Race, the Mobile Sumo, and the Mobile Flat. And finally, here he is next to the standard size Gym Custom and the always bulky Zaku 3. Did I mention that this is a pretty big mobile suit, but still not quite as big as the Zaku 3. And that's all for this review. A big thank you to the Patreon supporters. I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you all next time.